Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very pleased to introduce you to what our development and the product we are bringing to the clinic and recently CE mark in the field of bone substitutes. This is just a disclaimer, especially of our quality statement and approach of the company. This is the journey we made since the beginning. By the way, we are based in Italy. For those of you that knows a little bit the north of Italy, we are close to Bologna, a beautiful town, 2.5 hours driving south of Milan. The company was established in 2015 to target a clear unmet and underserved medical need, which is related to the capacity to regenerate bone, especially for large bone defects. We started, as I said, in 2015. We achieved the CE mark in December last year. 2 clinical studies ongoing, clinical development, preclinical development done in compliance with European and US regulatory requirements. We raised so far 11.4 million euro through a seed round of 3 million and a round A of 8.4 million euro done in June 2017. We have a manufacturing line in our facility, and we are now moving to close a round B of investment, as I'm going to tell you. Now, our patients. As many of you knows, for those patients that are subject to bone reconstructive surgery, today the gold standard is still autograft, so bone transplantation. And this is, despite it has some clear limitation. And this is in some way a good news for us because on itself, it's saying that all the available alternatives have some limitation. In particular, if we consider the need to regenerate large bone defect, as I said. And this is exactly our key selling proposition, to be the first synthetic material with a clear regenerative capacity also for large bone defects. And how we have the ambition to achieve this challenging goal? Because we have a product that is fully inspired by nature. We are using wood as a starting material, natural wood, in particular rattan, that we source from Asia Pacific. And this is based on the fact that, as you can see on the picture, there are some clear similarities in terms of internal architecture and on the hierarchically organized channel-like porosity with the wood and our bone. And so thanks to our technology, we can take wood, we shape it according with the bone that we have to regenerate, and then through our process, we completely change the chemistry without losing in any step of the process the key architecture that is provided by nature. And this provides some unique properties that I'm going to show you later on, in addition to the fact that at the end, our material is made by the best biocompatible material composition ever, which is a combination of hydroxyapatite and tricalcium phosphate. As I said, there are some characteristics that we bring from nature in our product. The first one is the porosity, which is unique. There are different hierarchical orders of dimension from micro to nanoscale that combines a beautiful longitudinal porosity with a highly interconnected porosity. In addition to that, because we are lucky that thanks to nature we can use an already existing 3D architecture, we don't need to make any sintering at the end of our process when we have to maintain the 3D and the large scaffold structures. Indeed, as you know, all those products that are today on the market that are based from hydroxyapatite and tricalcium phosphate start from powder. And clearly, starting from powder, you have to aggregate that at the end of it in order to give any 3D shape. Sintering completely destroys the bioactive structure of natural hydroxyapatite that is made of nanocrystals architecture. And this is exactly the structure that we preserve in our product. As you can see on the picture here on the right, differently from commercial product, in our bone substitute, is completely preserved the bioactive nanocrystal morphology. And this is what cells are looking for in order to manipulate and metabolize a bone substitute in a physiological way to sustain a natural regeneration process. The combination of these features allow to achieve an additional goal, which is to have for the first time a ceramic material that is not brittle, but it has a damage-tolerant behavior, mimicking the behavior of natural bone, as you can see on the picture. So in other words, this bone substitute can be drilled, can be cut and shaped directly in the surgery theater. And this is something that has been granted and approved in our CE mark. That is summarized here. The first indication that we achieved in order to be focused in bringing this product to certification is to be subject to be used in those patients having bone defect caused by trauma or surgically induced in the extremities and pelvis. So arms, legs, foot, hands, and the pelvis. This is a summary of the large study that we did in animals. It was performed in Israel, the preclinical unit of Asaf Orofei, in collaboration with the Rizzoli Orthopedic Institute, a center of excellence in Italy for orthopedic surgery. And you can see clearly how beautiful was the regeneration of the gap with perfectly reformed osteon, properly revascularized. And behind this slide, we have all data confirming from an histological, morphological, mechanical, and elastic point of view that we have really been able to generate a functional bone. Even the osteotomy line was not visible at the end of the study. This is just a nice story, very brief, of a dog that escaped amputation thanks to the use of GreenBone after having had a very big damage on the leg that didn't heal even with the bone transplant. In terms of clinical application, as I mentioned at the beginning, we have 2 clinical studies ongoing that has been launched in order to, last year, in compliance also with the MDR 2017-45, that, as you know, is the new regulation that will be in place in Europe from May 2020. First study in long bone. We have 4 patients here then with more than 10 months follow-up. And one of the patients has been completely healed and is now 3 months without any stabilization system. By the way, we demonstrated also the possibility to successfully use with GreenBone every stabilization system that I use today in the clinic, so X-Fix, plate, and intramedullary nail. The second study is conducted in UK using blocks on the iliac crest in order to demonstrate safety and performance also in non-load-bearing bones. In this case, 5 patients with all of them more than 3 months follow-up, and the interim assessment that confirm the beautiful profile of the product in terms of integration, restoration, and good physiological continuity. No adverse events so far. The positioning is pretty clear. We are bringing in a product that combines all together osteointegration, osteoinduction, especially osteoconduction, and the huge mechanical properties that allow to be very unique in the landscape. And we define the market in collaboration with PharmaVenture on the basis of the number of procedures that has the ambition to be able to tackle also some of those patients that are subject to bone transplantation that so doesn't reflect in the level of sales of the existing market, of the existing product today. Next step. As I said at the beginning, we are working to close a round of 20 million euros, so between 22 and let's say 23, 25 million dollars by the end of the year, with 3 main steps to be achieved. One is the expansion of the clinical use of the products beyond the 2 clinical studies that we are running at the moment, thanks to the CE mark that allow physicians to use it without any additional authorization. Expand the market authorization beyond CE mark and FDA that is going to be submitted next month following the 510(k) path. And move the product also to other indications, in particular starting from spine application. Last but not least, improve our manufacturing capacity in order to sustain the market introduction and demonstrate market acceptability in 3 major European countries. The seniority of the company that covers all the major needs and skills, and the huge and quite relevant panel of clinical investigators. with the board of investors that reflects all the international panel of investors that we have on board today. Thanks for your attention, and if any one of you want to know how wood can be translated in a bone substitute, I have some samples with me that can show you how the process occurs in order to move from natural product to an effective bone substitute. Thanks a lot.